Across the vast expanse of our cosmos, where billions of stars burn with ancient fire and countless worlds drift in the eternal darkness, one question echoes through the void like a cosmic whisper. Are we truly alone? Tonight, we embark on a journey that will challenge everything you thought you knew about our past, our place in the universe, and the extraordinary mysteries that connect Earth to the infinite reaches of space. Picture this. You're standing before the Great Pyramid of Giza, its massive stones reaching toward the heavens with mathematical precision that defies explanation. The wind carries whispers of ancient secrets as you run your fingers along blocks so perfectly fitted that not even a blade of grass could slip between them. But here's where it gets interesting, where the boundaries between archaeology and astronomy begin to blur like distant galaxies. These aren't just monuments to human ambition. There's something far more extraordinary. The truth is, scattered across our planet like breadcrumbs left by cosmic travelers, we find evidence of knowledge that shouldn't exist. Ancient civilizations somehow possessed understanding of celestial mechanics, stellar alignments, and mathematical constants that we've only recently rediscovered with our most advanced technology. It's as if someone, or something, was guiding humanity's hand as they carved their legacy into stone and star charts. Consider the impossible precision of these ancient architects. The Great Pyramid's base perimeter divided by its height gives us pi, that fundamental mathematical constant governing circles and spheres throughout the universe. The structure's latitude coordinates match the speed of light to an accuracy that seems almost deliberately planted. Coincidence? Perhaps. But when you begin connecting the dots across continents and millennia, a pattern emerges that's both beautiful and unsettling. From the mysterious Nazca lines etched into Peru's desert floor, visible only from the sky centuries before human flight, to the massive stone heads of Easter Island that seem to gaze eternally toward the stars, our ancestors left us puzzles wrapped in enigmas. These aren't random artistic expressions. They're messages, coordinates, star maps perhaps, pointing towards something greater than ourselves. The ancient Sumerian tablets speak of beings who descended from the heavens, bringing knowledge of agriculture, mathematics, and astronomy to early human civilization. The Sanskrit epics describe vimanas, flying vehicles that soar through the clouds and beyond. Aboriginal Dreamtime stories tell of sky beings who shaped the land and taught the people the ways of the cosmos. Cultures separated by vast oceans and thousands of years, yet their stories echo with remarkable consistency. But let's venture deeper into this cosmic mystery. Modern archaeologists using ground-penetrating radar and satellite imaging are discovering that many of these ancient sites extend far beneath the surface we can see. Recent scans of the Giza Plateau reveal vast underground chambers and tunnels that honeycomb the Earth like a three-dimensional star chart. What lies hidden in these subterranean passages? What knowledge sleeps in the darkness, waiting for us to develop the wisdom to understand it? The Antikythera mechanism, that bronze computer recovered from an ancient Greek shipwreck, calculated celestial movements with a precision that wouldn't be matched again for over 1,000 years. How did they know? How did they build gears and wheels that track the dance of planets with such exquisite accuracy? It's as if they had access to knowledge that transcended their supposed technological limitations. Think about the megalithic sites scattered across our world like cosmic beacons. Stonehenge, aligned with solstices and lunar cycles. Göbekli Tepe, built by hunter-gatherers who shouldn't have possessed the organizational skills for such massive construction projects. Pumapunku, with its impossibly precise cuts and interlocking stones that fit together like pieces of an alien jigsaw puzzle. Each site whispers the same question. Who really built these monuments, And why do they all seem designed to communicate with the sky? The mathematics embedded in these structures speaks a universal language. The golden ratio appears in the Parthenon's proportions, in the spiral of the Nautilus shell, and in the arms of distant galaxies. Pi governs not just earthly circles, but the orbits of planets and the curvature of space-time itself. These aren't human discoveries, they're cosmic constants, fundamental truths that govern reality from the quantum level to the largest structures in the universe. Recent discoveries continue to deepen the mystery. In 2019, researchers using cosmic ray imaging detected massive voids within the Great Pyramid, chambers that remain sealed after 4.5 millennia. What waits in those dark spaces? More importantly, why were they hidden with such deliberate care? The electromagnetic anomalies detected around these sites suggest technologies we don't fully understand. Energy patterns that pulse through the Earth like a planetary heartbeat. The Voyager spacecraft, now sailing through interstellar space, carries a golden record with sounds and images from Earth. It's our message to the cosmos, our attempt to communicate with any intelligence that might find it drifting among the stars. But what if our ancestors created their own golden records, carved in stone and earth, designed to last until we develop the technology to decode their true meaning? The implications are staggering. If advanced civilizations visited Earth in our distant past, if they shared knowledge with our ancestors, then we're not just inhabitants of this planet. We're part of a larger cosmic community. The universe suddenly becomes not a cold, empty void, but a living network of intelligence and wonder, with Earth as one node in a vast interstellar web of consciousness. The evidence surrounds us like stars in the night sky, waiting for those brave enough to look up and ask the most profound question of all. What if everything we thought we knew about our origins, our capabilities, and our destiny among the stars is about to change forever? The ancient civilizations didn't just build monuments, they built bridges connecting Earth to the infinite cosmos above, leaving us clues to help us remember who we really are and where we truly belong in this magnificent, mysterious universe. As we stand on the threshold of a new era of space exploration, as we prepare to return to the moon and venture to Mars, perhaps we're not pioneering new frontiers, but returning to paths our ancestors once walked among the stars. The truth is out there, encoded in stone and myth, waiting for us to develop the wisdom to understand that we've never been alone, and the cosmos has always been our home. But the Great Pyramid wasn't built in isolation. Across the globe, ancient civilizations were constructing monuments that seemed to share an impossible understanding of mathematics, astronomy, and engineering. It's as if they were all reading from the same cosmic playbook. Take the Nazca lines in Peru, massive geoglyphs etched into the desert floor between 500 BCE and 500 CE. Lines so straight, they stretch for miles without deviation. Animals and geometric shapes so large they can only be fully appreciated from the sky. Yet the Nazca people had no aircraft, no way to see their work from above. How did they achieve such precision across such vast distances? The answer might lie in the same astronomical knowledge that guided the pyramid builders. Recent analysis reveals that many Nazca lines align with solstices, equinoxes, and the rising points of specific constellations. The famous spider geoglyph appears to mirror the constellation Orion. The hummingbird aligns with celestial events crucial to the agricultural calendar. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. The Nazca people weren't just drawing pictures in the sand. They were creating a massive astronomical calculator, a ground-based planetarium that tracked celestial cycles with stunning accuracy. Halfway around the world, on Easter Island, the Moai statues present another puzzle. These massive stone heads, some weighing over 80 tons, weren't randomly placed. Recent archaeological work has revealed that many moai align with astronomical events. They face inland, watching over their people, but their positioning corresponds to the rising and setting of specific stars. The Rapa Nui people who carved these giants between 1100 and 1500 CE understood stellar navigation with remarkable sophistication. They had crossed thousands of miles of open ocean to reach this remote island, guided only by the stars. Their moai served as permanent markers of this celestial knowledge, stone anchors connecting earth to sky. But perhaps nowhere is this ancient astronomical mastery more evident than at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. Built around 9600 BCE, this site predates Stonehenge by over 6,000 years. It was constructed by hunter-gatherers who supposedly lacked the complex social organization needed for such monumental architecture. Yet there it stands, with massive T-shaped pillars arranged in precise circles, decorated with intricate carvings of animals and symbols. The site's alignment with the constellation Cygnus suggests it served as an ancient observatory, tracking the slow wobble of Earth's axis called precession. This 26,000-year cycle was somehow known to people who lived before the invention of writing, before the wheel, before agriculture as we know it. What's even more remarkable is that Göbekli Tepe appears to have been deliberately buried around 8000 BCE. The builders carefully covered their creation with tons of earth, preserving it for posterity. It's as if they knew future generations would need this knowledge, this connection to the cosmos. Across the Atlantic, at Pumapunku in Bolivia, we find stone blocks cut with laser-like precision at an altitude of over 12,000 feet. These interlocking megaliths, some weighing over 100 tons, were shaped with tolerances that modern machinery struggles to match. The site's elevation means the builders were working in thin air, making their achievement even more extraordinary. The precision isn't random. The cuts, angles, and proportions all reflect advanced mathematical understanding. The golden ratio appears repeatedly in the stonework. The alignments correspond to astronomical events visible from this high-altitude location. But how did the builders move these massive stones? The nearest quarry was over 60 miles away, across Lake Titicaca and up steep mountain slopes. No evidence exists of the roads or machinery such transport would require. Yet somehow, these perfectly cut blocks were delivered and assembled with mathematical precision that rivals modern construction. This brings us to a disturbing possibility. What if these ancient builders possessed knowledge that we've lost? What if their understanding of physics, mathematics, and astronomy surpassed our own in certain crucial ways? Consider the Antikythera mechanism, that bronze computer recovered from a 2,000-year-old shipwreck. It predicted eclipses, tracked planetary positions, and calculated celestial cycles with accuracy that wouldn't be matched again until the Renaissance. This wasn't primitive technology. It was sophisticated engineering that demonstrates a level of scientific understanding we've only recently rediscovered. The mechanism's complexity suggests it wasn't unique. There were likely others, perhaps more advanced, that simply haven't survived. We might be looking at the remnants of a scientific tradition far more sophisticated than historical records suggest. This pattern of lost knowledge appears worldwide. In India, ancient texts describe flying vehicles called vimanas, with technical specifications that read like modern aircraft manuals. In Central America, the Maya calculated planetary orbits with precision that surpassed European astronomy well into the modern era. In Egypt, medical papyri describe surgical procedures that wouldn't be attempted again for millennia. What connects all these achievements is their relationship to the cosmos. Ancient builders weren't just creating monuments to impress future archaeologists. They were encoding astronomical knowledge into stone, preserving information about celestial cycles, cosmic events, and humanity's place in the universe. The Great Pyramid's internal chambers align with specific stars. The Nazca lines track celestial movements across centuries. Stonehenge frames the solstices with architectural precision. Göbekli Tepe maps precession cycles spanning thousands of years. These weren't accidents or coincidences. They were deliberate choices made by people who understood the cosmos in ways we're only beginning to appreciate. But why preserve this knowledge in stone? Why go to such extraordinary lengths to encode astronomical information into monuments that would last millennia? Perhaps because they knew something we're just rediscovering. That consciousness and cosmos are connected. That human awareness and universal intelligence are part of the same vast system. That understanding our place in the cosmic order isn't just academic curiosity, but fundamental to human survival and evolution. Modern science is beginning to validate what ancient builders somehow knew. Quantum physics suggests that consciousness and reality are intimately connected. Astronomy reveals that we're literally made of star stuff, that every atom in our bodies was forged in stellar furnaces. Cosmology shows us a universe of staggering complexity and beauty, operating according to mathematical principles that ancient civilizations somehow grasped. The megalithic builders weren't primitive ancestors struggling with stone tools. They were sophisticated astronomers, mathematicians, and engineers who understood principles we're still uncovering. Their monuments weren't just impressive constructions. They were libraries written in stone, preserving cosmic knowledge for future generations to decode. We stand at the threshold of understanding what they knew, that human consciousness and cosmic intelligence are part of the same magnificent system, that our destiny isn't confined to this small planet, but extends to the stars themselves, that the monuments they left behind aren't just archaeological curiosities, but roadmaps to a larger reality. The ancient builders looked up at the same stars we see tonight, but unlike us, they didn't see them as distant points of light. They saw them as part of a vast, interconnected system of which humanity was an integral part. Their monuments were their way of ensuring that this knowledge, this connection, would never be completely lost. Now, as we venture into space ourselves, as we discover exoplanets and search for extraterrestrial intelligence, we're following paths they mapped out in stone thousands of years ago. We're rediscovering truths they preserved in the only medium they knew would last. The eternal language of megalithic architecture, written in stone against the backdrop of an infinite sky. Have you ever wondered why ancient civilizations, separated by thousands of miles and centuries, all built monuments that perfectly align with the stars? Tonight, we're diving deeper into one of archaeology's most perplexing mysteries. These weren't just builders, they were cosmic architects, encoding secrets into stone that we're only now beginning to understand. The evidence is staggering, and it challenges everything we thought we knew about our ancestors' capabilities. From the precise astronomical alignments of Göbekli Tepe to the mathematical perfection hidden within the Great Pyramid, we're uncovering a pattern that suggests these ancient cultures possess knowledge that shouldn't have been possible for their time. But here's where it gets truly fascinating. Recent discoveries have revealed that these monuments weren't isolated achievements. They're part of a global network, a prehistoric internet of knowledge that connected civilizations across continents. And the more we decode their messages, the more we realize they weren't just looking up at the stars, they were communicating with them. Consider this: the Antikythera mechanism, often called the world's first computer, could predict eclipses and planetary movements with startling accuracy. Yet it was created over 2,000 years ago. How did ancient Greeks develop technology that wouldn't be seen again until the Renaissance? The answer might lie not in what they invented, but in what they remembered. You see, scattered across our planet are structures that tell the same story in different languages. The Nazca lines stretch across the Peruvian desert like cosmic runways. Easter Island's Moai statues stand as silent sentinels, their backs turned to the sea, facing inland toward the stars. And deep beneath the Egyptian sands, we've discovered chambers and passages that align with celestial bodies with mathematical precision that rivals modern engineering. These aren't coincidences. They're breadcrumbs left by a civilization that understood something fundamental about our relationship with the cosmos, something we're only now rediscovering through quantum physics and advanced astronomy. The ancient Egyptians didn't just build pyramids, they built star maps in stone. The 3 pyramids of Giza mirror the belt of Orion with such precision that the margin of error is less than the width of a human hair. But here's what's truly mind-bending. They positioned these monuments to reflect not how Orion appeared in their time, but how it appeared over 10,000 years earlier, during what they called the first time, Zep Tepi. This suggests they were preserving a memory, a record of when the gods walked among humans and shared their knowledge of the heavens. And this wasn't unique to Egypt. Cultures worldwide speak of a golden age when divine beings taught humanity the secrets of astronomy, mathematics, and engineering. The Sumerians, credited with inventing writing and the wheel, possessed astronomical knowledge that shouldn't have been possible without telescopes. They knew about planets invisible to the naked eye and calculated celestial cycles with accuracy that wasn't matched again until the space age. Their creation myths speak of the Anunnaki, beings who came from the stars and gave humanity the gift of knowledge. But perhaps the most compelling evidence comes from a discovery that's rewriting our understanding of human history. Göbekli Tepe in modern-day Turkey predates Stonehenge by 6,000 years. This massive complex of carved stone pillars, arranged in perfect circles, was built by hunter-gatherers who supposedly had no knowledge of astronomy or engineering. Yet recent analysis reveals that Göbekli Tepe was positioned to track the precession of the equinoxes, a 26,000-year cycle that requires sophisticated mathematical understanding and centuries of continuous observation. The carved animals on the pillars aren't random decorations, they're constellations, frozen in stone to record the night sky as it appeared over 11,000 years ago. This suggests that our ancestors weren't primitive cave dwellers gradually discovering the world around them. They were inheritors of a much older tradition, guardians of knowledge passed down from a time when humanity's relationship with the cosmos was fundamentally different. And this knowledge wasn't lost, it was hidden, encoded in myths, preserved in monuments, and whispered through mystery schools that understood the true nature of reality. The ancient Egyptians called it the hidden wisdom. The Greeks knew it as the eternal philosophy. The Hindus spoke of the perennial knowledge that existed before time began. Modern science is finally catching up to what our ancestors knew intuitively, that consciousness and cosmos are intimately connected. Quantum physics reveals that observation affects reality, that the universe is more like a vast mind than a mechanical clock. Perhaps those ancient stargazers understood something we're only now rediscovering, that we're not separate from the universe, but expressions of it. The monuments they left behind aren't just archaeological curiosities, they're operating manuals for human consciousness, guidebooks for navigating the cosmic currents that shape our reality. They understood that by aligning themselves with celestial rhythms, by building in harmony with cosmic principles, they could tap into forces beyond ordinary comprehension. This is why their achievements seem impossible by conventional standards. They weren't working against nature, they were working with it, using knowledge that encompassed not just the physical world, but the metaphysical principles that underlie all existence. And the most extraordinary part, this knowledge wasn't meant to stay buried. These ancient architects built their monuments to last not just centuries, but millennia. They were sending a message across time, waiting for the moment when humanity would develop the technology to decode their cosmic blueprints. That moment is now. We have the tools to read their star maps, to understand their mathematical codes, to recognize the profound wisdom they embedded in stone. We're standing at the threshold of rediscovering our true heritage as a cosmic civilization, one that's been dreaming of the stars since the very beginning. The question isn't whether ancient civilizations possessed advanced knowledge. The evidence is overwhelming. The question is what we're going to do with the wisdom they've preserved for us. Because hidden within their monuments lies the key to understanding, not just where we came from, but where we're destined to go. The stars are calling, just as they called to our ancestors. And perhaps it's time we learn to listen again. But here's where the story takes an extraordinary turn. These ancient architects weren't just building monuments. They were encoding messages. Messages that we're only now beginning to decode with our most advanced technology. And what we're discovering is reshaping everything we thought we knew about human history. Take the Antikythera mechanism, for instance. Found in a shipwreck off the coast of Greece, this bronze device has been called the world's first computer. Dating back over 2,000 years, it contains a complex system of gears that could predict eclipses, track planetary movements, and calculate the positions of celestial bodies with astonishing accuracy. This wasn't just ancient craftsmanship. This was sophisticated astronomical knowledge that we thought didn't exist until the Renaissance. But the Antikythera mechanism isn't an isolated discovery. It's part of a pattern that's emerging across the globe. A pattern that suggests our ancestors possessed knowledge that seems almost impossible for their time period. Consider the precision of the Great Pyramid's construction. Not only is it aligned to true north with incredible accuracy, but recent discoveries using cosmic ray imaging have revealed hidden chambers within the structure. Chambers that remain sealed after 4,500 years, holding secrets we can't yet access. The pyramid's mathematical proportions encode the golden ratio, pi, and even correlate to the speed of light when expressed in certain measurements. This isn't coincidence. This is intentional encoding of cosmic knowledge into stone. The Nazca lines present another piece of this puzzle. These massive geoglyphs, carved into the Peruvian desert, can only be fully appreciated from the air. Yet they were created by a civilization that supposedly had no flight capability. The lines themselves stretch for kilometers with laser-like precision, some pointing to specific star positions, others forming intricate patterns that mirror constellations. Recently, artificial intelligence has helped discover over 140 new Nazca geoglyphs, including figures that appear to show beings with elongated heads and what some researchers describe as otherworldly characteristics. These aren't primitive drawings, they're sophisticated astronomical maps etched into the Earth itself. But perhaps the most intriguing evidence comes from Göbekli Tepe in Turkey. This site predates Stonehenge by over 6,000 years, making it older than agriculture, older than written language, older than the wheel. Yet the precision of its construction and the complexity of its astronomical alignments suggest a level of knowledge that challenges our entire understanding of human development. The massive stone pillars at Göbekli Tepe are carved with symbols and animals that seem to tell a story that some researchers believe depicts a cosmic catastrophe, specifically the Younger Dryas impact event that occurred around 12,800 years ago. If this interpretation is correct, then Göbekli Tepe isn't just an ancient temple, it's a memorial to a global catastrophe built by survivors who wanted to preserve their knowledge for future generations. This brings us to a startling possibility. What if these ancient sites weren't just built to honor the gods or mark celestial events? What if they were built as a kind of cosmic insurance policy, a way to preserve advanced knowledge through catastrophic events that periodically reset human civilization? The evidence suggests that our ancestors understood cosmic cycles that we're only now rediscovering. They knew about precession, the 26,000-year wobble of Earth's axis. They tracked ice ages, solar cycles, and even galactic alignments that occur over hundreds of thousands of years. But here's the question that keeps researchers awake at night. How did they acquire this knowledge? How did Stone Age civilizations develop an understanding of cosmic mechanics that rivals our modern astronomy? Some researchers point to the myths and legends that are remarkably consistent across cultures worldwide. Stories of sky gods, flying vehicles, beings who came from the stars to teach humanity. These aren't isolated tales. They're global narratives that appear in every ancient civilization, from the Sumerian Anunnaki to the Hindu Vimanas, from the Egyptian Neteru to the Mesoamerican feathered serpents. Could these myths be more than just stories? Could they be cultural memories of actual contact with advanced beings who shared cosmic knowledge with our ancestors? The technology gap is perhaps the most puzzling aspect of all. We find evidence of advanced metallurgy in cultures that supposedly only had stone tools. We discover precision-cut megaliths that would challenge modern construction equipment. We uncover astronomical computers in civilizations that we're told were just learning to write. This technological paradox extends beyond individual artifacts. Recent analysis of ancient Indian texts describes flying machines with detailed specifications for construction and operation. Mesopotamian tablets contain mathematical formulas that weren't rediscovered until the 20th century. Egyptian medical papyri describe surgical procedures that require knowledge of anatomy we thought was impossible without modern instruments. It's as if there was a transfer of knowledge, a cosmic download, if you will, that elevated human understanding far beyond what should have been possible for the time period. And this knowledge wasn't just theoretical, it was practical, encoded into monuments that have survived catastrophes, climate changes, and the rise and fall of civilizations. These sites continue to function as cosmic calendars, marking celestial events with precision that amazes modern astronomers. The ancient architects weren't just building for their own time, they were building for us. They were leaving messages for a future humanity that would develop the technology to decode their secrets. Messages that are only now beginning to make sense as we develop the tools to see what they were really showing us. But the most profound realization may be this: if our ancestors had access to such advanced knowledge, and if they went to such extraordinary lengths to preserve it, then what happened to that knowledge? What caused the great forgetting that left humanity scrambling to rediscover truths that were once common understanding? The answer to that question might be the most important discovery of all. Because if we can understand how advanced knowledge was lost, we might also understand how it can be preserved. And if we can decode the full message our ancestors left in stone, we might discover that we're not alone in the cosmos, and never have been. The ancient sites aren't just monuments to the past. They're beacons, still transmitting their cosmic secrets to anyone with the wisdom to listen. And as we stand on the threshold of becoming an interstellar civilization ourselves, perhaps it's time we finally understood what our ancestors were trying to tell us about our true place in the universe. The question isn't whether ancient civilizations had help from advanced beings. The question is whether we're ready to accept the implications of that help, and what it means for humanity's cosmic destiny. But perhaps the most profound mystery lies not in what these ancient civilizations built, but in what they remembered. How did knowledge survive the rise and fall of empires? How did cosmic wisdom travel across continents and centuries? The answer may lie in the stars themselves. Consider this remarkable fact. Virtually every ancient civilization, from the Maya to the Egyptians, from the Babylonians to the Polynesians, developed sophisticated methods of stellar navigation and cosmic timekeeping. They didn't just look up at the night sky for entertainment. They were reading a universal library, one that transcended the boundaries of language, culture, and time. The Polynesians navigated thousands of miles of open ocean, using nothing but their knowledge of star positions, wave patterns, and celestial movements. They called this wayfinding, and it enabled them to discover and populate islands scattered across an area larger than all the world's continents combined. Their navigators, known as master navigators or palu, underwent decades of training to memorize the positions of over 200 stars, the seasonal patterns of winds and currents, and the subtle signs that indicated land was near. But here's what's truly extraordinary. When European explorers first encountered these master navigators in the 18th and 19th centuries, they were astounded by their accuracy. These navigators could pinpoint their location within a few miles after weeks at sea, using only the stars as their guide. They had no instruments, no compasses, no maps as we understand them. Yet they were more accurate than many European ships equipped with the latest navigational technology. How is this possible? The answer lies in what we might call the cosmic memory system. The stars don't change their relative positions over human timescales. The Big Dipper looks the same today as it did to ancient Egyptian astronomers 5,000 years ago. This celestial stability created a perfect medium for storing and transmitting knowledge across generations. Ancient civilizations understood this. They encoded critical information into stellar alignments, not just in their monuments, but in their myths, their calendars, and their cultural practices. The star patterns became a kind of cosmic hard drive, storing everything from agricultural timing to mathematical constants to navigational data. Take the ancient Greeks' knowledge of precession, the slow wobble of Earth's axis that causes the positions of stars to shift very gradually over thousands of years. This phenomenon takes 26,000 years to complete one full cycle. Yet somehow, ancient astronomers detected this almost imperceptible movement and incorporated it into their understanding of cosmic time. Hipparchus, the Greek astronomer, is credited with discovering precession around 150 BCE, but recent analysis of much older texts suggests that knowledge of precession may have been preserved in mythological stories for millennia before Hipparchus made his observations. The slow movement of the celestial pole star, which changes roughly every 2,000 years, appears to be encoded in myths about dying and resurrecting gods, changing ages, and cosmic cycles. This suggests something remarkable, that ancient civilizations developed a system for preserving astronomical knowledge that could survive the collapse of entire cultures. When libraries burned and cities fell, when languages died, and writing systems were forgotten, the stars remained, and those who knew how to read them could recover the lost knowledge. Consider the mystery of the Antikythera mechanism again. This ancient Greek computer could predict eclipses, track planetary positions, and calculate the timing of the Olympic Games decades into the future. But it wasn't just a sophisticated calendar. It was a preservation device encoding centuries of astronomical observations into a mechanical system that could be reconstructed by anyone who understood its principles. The knowledge embedded in the Antikythera mechanism didn't originate with the Greeks. Much of it can be traced back to Babylonian astronomy, which itself built upon even older traditions. The device represents a convergence of knowledge streams that had been flowing for millennia, finally crystallizing into a mechanical form that could preserve and transmit that wisdom to future generations. This pattern repeats throughout history. The Maya didn't develop their incredibly accurate calendar system in isolation. Their understanding of Venus cycles, eclipse patterns, and long-term astronomical phenomena shows clear connections to older Mesoamerican traditions, and some researchers argue to knowledge systems that may have originated in the Old World. The famous Maya long count calendar, which tracks vast cycles of time spanning thousands of years, demonstrates a level of astronomical sophistication that rivals modern calculations. Their Venus tables could predict the planet's movements with an accuracy that wasn't matched by European astronomers until the 19th century. Where did this knowledge come from? Recent discoveries suggest that Maya astronomers were part of a much larger network of cosmic knowledge that spanned continents. Stone circles in Armenia show alignments with the same stellar phenomena tracked by Maya astronomers. Ancient Chinese texts describe astronomical events using terminology remarkably similar to that found in Maya codices. Aboriginal Australian songlines encode stellar navigation techniques that parallel those used by Polynesian navigators. This isn't coincidence. It's evidence of what we might call the interstellar knowledge network, a system for preserving and transmitting cosmic wisdom that operated at a global scale long before our modern conception of global communication. But how did this network function? How did astronomical knowledge travel from one civilization to another, across vast distances and seemingly insurmountable barriers? The answer may lie in understanding that ancient peoples didn't see the world the way we do. They didn't think in terms of isolated civilizations separated by geographic boundaries. They thought in terms of cosmic connections, stellar influences, and celestial highways that linked all life on Earth to the greater universe. Ancient texts from cultures around the world describe traveling teachers, cosmic messengers, and star beings who brought knowledge to humanity. These aren't necessarily accounts of extraterrestrial visitors, though they've often been interpreted that way. They may be descriptions of human knowledge keepers, master navigators and astronomers who traveled vast distances to share their understanding of cosmic principles. These cosmic teachers would have been revered figures, carrying with them not just technical knowledge, but the keys to understanding humanity's place in the universe. They would have established schools, trained disciples, and created systems for preserving their knowledge that could survive the collapse of civilizations. The evidence for this interstellar knowledge network is everywhere once you know how to look for it. It's in the mathematical constants encoded in ancient monuments. It's in the astronomical alignments that appear in sacred sites around the world. It's in the myths and legends that preserve cosmic knowledge in symbolic form. It's in the navigation techniques that enabled ancient peoples to cross vast oceans and explore unknown lands. Most importantly, it's in the profound understanding that ancient peoples had of their connection to the cosmos. They didn't see themselves as isolated beings on a small planet. They saw themselves as part of a vast cosmic community, connected to the stars through knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. This cosmic perspective enabled them to preserve and transmit knowledge in ways that transcended the limitations of individual cultures and civilizations. When one civilization fell, the knowledge didn't die with it. It lived on in the stars, waiting to be rediscovered by the next generation of cosmic seekers. Today, as we begin to rediscover these ancient knowledge systems, we're not just uncovering archaeological artifacts. We're reconnecting with a cosmic inheritance that belongs to all humanity. The interstellar secrets of ancient civilizations aren't just about the past. They're about remembering who we are and where we came from, and perhaps most importantly, where we're going. The stars that guided ancient navigators across uncharted seas are the same stars that light our way today. The cosmic principles that ancient astronomers encoded in stone monuments are the same principles that govern our modern understanding of the universe. The interstellar knowledge network that connected ancient civilizations is still there, waiting for us to remember how to access it. In our next exploration, we'll delve deeper into how this cosmic knowledge shaped the spiritual and technological development of ancient civilizations, and examine the tantalizing possibility that some of this knowledge may have originated from sources beyond our planet. The journey into humanity's interstellar heritage is just beginning. The cosmic threads that bind these ancient mysteries together reveal a pattern so profound, so deliberately encoded across continents and millennia, that we must ask ourselves, Were our ancestors part of something far greater than we've ever imagined? Tonight, we venture into the deepest chambers of this ancient conspiracy of knowledge, where star maps become prophecies, where monuments speak in mathematical languages, and where the very fabric of reality seems to have been understood by civilizations we've dismissed as primitive. Consider this. While we pride ourselves on our modern understanding of the cosmos, ancient builders were encoding the speed of light into pyramid dimensions, calculating precession cycles that take 26,000 years to complete, and constructing monuments that serve as perfect astronomical computers. The Antikythera mechanism didn't just predict eclipses, it demonstrated a level of technological sophistication that wouldn't be seen again for over 1,000 years. These weren't lucky guesses or primitive superstitions. This was advanced science, deliberately preserved and transmitted across generations. The question that haunts every serious researcher is not whether these civilizations possessed advanced knowledge, but how they acquired it and why they went to such extraordinary lengths to preserve it. From the precisely aligned shafts of the Great Pyramid pointing to specific stars, to the massive geoglyphs of Nazca that can only be fully appreciated from the sky, to the impossibly precise stonework of Pumapunku, we see evidence of a coordinated effort to leave messages for future generations. What emerges from this global pattern is something unprecedented in human history, a worldwide network of knowledge preservation that transcends individual cultures, languages, and even time periods. The same astronomical alignments appear in Egypt and Cambodia. The same mathematical principles govern structures in Peru and Turkey. The same symbolic language appears carved in stone from Easter Island to Göbekli Tepe. This wasn't coincidence. This was coordination on a scale that challenges everything we think we know about ancient human capabilities. These civilizations were part of something bigger, something that connected them across vast oceans and impossible distances. They shared knowledge that we're only now beginning to rediscover, encoded it in ways that would survive catastrophes, and left it scattered across the globe like pieces of a cosmic puzzle waiting for us to reassemble. The most disturbing aspect of this revelation is what it suggests about our own place in this continuum. We are not the first technological civilization on this planet. We are not the first to reach for the stars, to understand the deeper mechanics of the universe, to encode knowledge in lasting monuments. We are simply the latest iteration in a cycle that may have repeated many times before, each time leaving behind fragments of wisdom for the next cycle to discover. The ancient astronaut hypothesis, while often dismissed by mainstream academia, begins to make sense when viewed through this lens. Not because aliens built these monuments, but because the knowledge encoded within them suggests contact with intelligences that understood cosmic principles far beyond what isolated Earth civilizations should have possessed. Whether these intelligences were extraterrestrial, interdimensional, or something else entirely becomes almost secondary to the undeniable evidence that they existed and that they shared their knowledge with our ancestors. What's truly remarkable is how this knowledge was preserved. Not in fragile texts or digital storage that could be corrupted or destroyed, but in massive stone monuments that would endure for millennia. These structures weren't just tombs or temples. They were libraries, universities, and observatories rolled into one. They were designed to survive global catastrophes, to outlast civilizations, to speak to future generations in the universal language of mathematics and astronomy. The precision required to achieve this level of coordination across the ancient world suggests planning on a timescale that dwarfs human lifespans. This wasn't the work of individual geniuses or isolated cultures stumbling upon advanced knowledge. This was a systematic, multi-generational project to preserve and transmit cosmic wisdom across time and space. As we stand on the threshold of becoming a spacefaring civilization ourselves, perhaps we're finally ready to understand what our ancestors were trying to tell us. The knowledge they preserved isn't just historical curiosity, it's a roadmap for our own cosmic destiny. They knew something about the nature of reality, about our place in the universe, about the cycles of civilization that rise and fall like cosmic seasons. The monuments they left behind aren't just markers of their achievements. They're waypoints on a journey that began long before recorded history and continues today. Every new discovery, every decoded symbol, every alignment we understand brings us closer to grasping the full scope of what they knew and why they went to such extraordinary lengths to preserve it. We are the inheritors of this ancient wisdom, the next custodians of knowledge that spans the cosmos itself. The question is, what will we do with this inheritance? Will we continue to dismiss it as primitive superstition? Or will we finally acknowledge that we are part of something far greater than ourselves, a cosmic community of intelligence that has been trying to guide us home for thousands of years? The stars our ancestors mapped so carefully are still there, still following the same patterns they encoded in stone. The cosmic cycles they calculated continue to turn. The knowledge they preserved waits patiently for us to mature enough to understand it fully. We stand at the threshold of that understanding, ready to take our place in a story that began long before us and will continue long after we're gone. This is our heritage, our destiny, our cosmic birthright. The ancient ones knew we would eventually find these messages, decode these mysteries, and take our next step into the vast community of intelligence that spans the stars. They built their monuments not just as monuments to themselves, but as launching pads for us, their distant descendants, to finally reach for the cosmos with the wisdom they so carefully preserved. The interstellar secrets of ancient civilizations aren't secrets anymore. They're invitations to join something magnificent, something that connects every living being to the infinite cosmos that gave us birth. Our ancestors were never primitive. They were simply the first to receive the invitation that we're finally ready to accept. As we reach the conclusion of our cosmic journey together, we find ourselves standing at the threshold between ancient wisdom and eternal mystery. Throughout these past hours, we've traversed the vast expanse of human curiosity, from the precise astronomical alignments of Göbekli Tepe to the mathematical perfection encoded within the Great Pyramid, from the celestial navigation systems of Polynesian wayfinders to the sophisticated metallurgy of ancient Andean civilizations. What emerges from this exploration is not merely a collection of unexplained phenomena, but rather a profound realization about the nature of human consciousness itself. These ancient structures, these mysterious artifacts, these inexplicable achievements, they speak to something deeper than technological prowess or cultural sophistication. They whisper of a fundamental connection between humanity and the cosmos that transcends our current understanding of linear progress and isolated development. Consider the recurring themes we've encountered. The universal human drive to map the heavens, to encode astronomical knowledge in stone, to preserve cosmic wisdom across millennia. From the star maps of Lascaux to the precision alignments of Newgrange, from the mathematical constants embedded in sacred architecture, to the sophisticated understanding of precession cycles found in cultures separated by oceans and centuries, we see evidence of a shared cosmic consciousness that defies conventional explanations of cultural diffusion or independent invention. The ancient megalithic builders weren't simply stacking stones. They were creating cosmic instruments, terrestrial observatories that could track celestial movements with accuracy that rivals our modern equipment. The precision of these alignments suggests not just careful observation, but an understanding of cosmic mechanics that we're only beginning to appreciate. When we find the same astronomical constants, the same mathematical relationships, the same sophisticated understanding of celestial cycles appearing independently across diverse civilizations, we must ask ourselves, what kind of knowledge were these ancient peoples preserving? Perhaps most intriguingly, we've discovered that many of these ancient sites seem to have been deliberately buried or abandoned at specific points in history, as if their builders knew that certain knowledge needed to be preserved for future generations who might be ready to understand it. The careful burial of Göbekli Tepe, the precise sealing of chambers within pyramids, the encoding of information in multiple, redundant systems. These suggest a deliberate strategy of cosmic preservation, a time capsule approach to safeguarding universal knowledge. The astronomical alignments we've examined aren't random or coincidental. They represent a sophisticated understanding of cosmic cycles, of the Earth's relationship to celestial bodies, of the deeper rhythms that govern existence itself. When ancient builders oriented their structures to track the 26,000-year precession cycle, they were demonstrating knowledge that supposedly wasn't rediscovered until modern times. When they encoded the speed of light, the dimensions of Earth, and other universal constants in their architecture, they were leaving us messages that we're only now learning to decode. But perhaps the most profound implication of our journey is this. These ancient achievements suggest that human consciousness itself may be far more sophisticated and connected than we currently understand. The ability to conceive, plan, and execute projects that required precise astronomical knowledge, advanced mathematical understanding, and coordination across generations points to a level of consciousness that transcends individual human limitations. It suggests a collective awareness, a shared cosmic understanding that enabled these remarkable achievements. The recurring appearance of similar symbols, similar astronomical knowledge, and similar architectural principles across isolated civilizations implies something beyond mere coincidence or cultural contact. It suggests that human consciousness, when properly attuned, has access to universal principles, to cosmic knowledge that transcends geographical and temporal boundaries. This raises profound questions about the nature of knowledge itself, about how information can be accessed and preserved across vast spans of time and space. As we stand at the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern scientific inquiry, we find ourselves participants in an ongoing cosmic conversation. The ancient builders left us more than stone monuments. They left us invitations to expand our understanding, to reconsider our assumptions about human capability and cosmic connection. Each alignment, each encoded constant, each precisely placed stone is a word in a message that spans millennia. A message that we're only beginning to comprehend. The evidence suggests that we are inheritors of a cosmic legacy, recipients of knowledge that has been carefully preserved through the rise and fall of civilizations. The ancient sites aren't merely historical curiosities, they're active repositories of information, cosmic libraries built in stone, designed to survive catastrophes and cultural upheavals. They represent humanity's attempt to maintain a connection with cosmic knowledge, to ensure that essential understanding survives even when civilizations fall. This perspective transforms our understanding of human history, from a simple narrative of technological progress to a more complex story of cosmic connection, knowledge preservation, and consciousness evolution. We begin to see ourselves not as the culmination of a linear progression, but as participants in a cyclical process of cosmic awareness, inheritors of ancient wisdom who are tasked with understanding and preserving it for future generations. The precision of ancient astronomical observations, the sophistication of megalithic engineering, the global distribution of similar knowledge systems, all of this points toward a fundamental truth about human consciousness and its relationship to cosmic intelligence. We are not isolated beings struggling to understand an indifferent universe. We are cosmic beings, connected to universal principles, capable of accessing knowledge that transcends individual limitations when we align ourselves with larger cosmic patterns. As we conclude this exploration, we're left not with final answers, but with an expanded awareness of the questions we should be asking. The ancient mysteries don't diminish in the face of scientific inquiry. They deepen, revealing layers of complexity and sophistication that challenge our assumptions about human capability and cosmic connection. They invite us to consider that the boundary between ancient wisdom and modern knowledge may be far more permeable than we've assumed. The cosmic knowledge embedded in ancient sites continues to unfold, offering new insights to each generation of researchers and seekers. As we develop more sophisticated tools for measurement and analysis, we discover new layers of information, new connections, new evidence of the remarkable sophistication of our ancient predecessors. Each discovery confirms that we are part of an ongoing cosmic story, inheritors of a legacy that connects us to the stars themselves. In recognizing this cosmic inheritance, we also accept a responsibility to continue the work of preservation and understanding, to decode the messages left for us in stone and star, to maintain the connection between human consciousness and cosmic intelligence that our ancestors worked so carefully to preserve. We are the current guardians of an ancient trust, tasked with ensuring that cosmic knowledge continues to flow through human civilization, connecting past wisdom with future understanding. The journey through these ancient mysteries ultimately leads us home, not to a place, but to a recognition of our true nature as cosmic beings, inheritors of stellar wisdom, participants in a universal conversation that began with the first human who looked up at the night sky and wondered about their place in the cosmic order. In understanding the achievements of our ancestors, we begin to understand our own potential, our own capacity for cosmic connection, our own role in the ongoing evolution of consciousness itself. The stars that guided ancient builders continue to shine above us, carrying the same cosmic information, offering the same universal truths. The knowledge they preserved in stone and story remains available to us, waiting for minds ready to receive it, hearts open to cosmic connection, consciousness prepared to embrace our true heritage as children of the cosmos. The ancient mysteries are not puzzles to be solved, but invitations to remember who we truly are and what we are truly capable of when we align ourselves with the cosmic intelligence that flows through all existence. In this remembering, we find not only understanding of the past, but guidance for the future, wisdom for navigating the challenges ahead, and hope for humanity's continued evolution toward ever greater cosmic consciousness. The ancient builders' greatest achievement wasn't the monuments they left behind, but the cosmic awareness they preserved, an awareness that remains our birthright, our inheritance, and our destiny.